Hello, this is JennyAHansen, and we are finishing part two of Seeking Safety in the World with a little Woo, who is an amazing spiritual guide and coach. She is an artistic and free soul with amazing work in dealing with and talking about your shadow and your light. So let's get started with
Feeling
part two.
crazy, there's a really good explanation for it,
Mm.
right? People, even with mental illness, have had multiple traumas, usually complex situations
Yeah.
going back before they were born. So it's hard to trace sometimes. But there's a reason why they're dealing with mental illness right now,
Yeah.
is because it's just been through so much.
So
They're not
much.
they're not crazy. They're reasonable people that have dealt with a lot.
Right.
And so all of us, when we come to that first premise of knowing that we're reasonable people, we're all actually wonderful, good people. Like, goodness is inherent,
Mm-hmm.
and bad behavior or evil actions are also reasonable if you knew the real story about what happened to this person. And
Mm-hmm.
so when I see people do really scary things or
Yeah.
really frightening things, I know that that person is deeply wounded.
Right.
And it only, when we realize that, then with our tools, science, medicine, and
Yes.
psychology and spirituality, all of that combined, holistic medicine, will one day be able to help them, because we'll stop seeing them as villains or as people that we need to put on an island somewhere and
Right.
excommunicate them from our society. We'll
Right.
stop doing that, like we have with alcoholism. Before, it was
Right.
considered just bad
A
behavior, like
disease.
you're just no,
Yeah.
what before the disease,
Oh,
it was
before.
seen as criminal behavior or as bad behavior, as evil,
Wow.
as sinful behavior. And
Mm.
then later they've classified it more as a medical condition, as a disease,
Yeah.
and realized that these people actually are suffering for something that they need help with, not
Right.
condemnation. And I think
Yes.
that's a good analogy for
That's
how
a perfect analogy.
yeah,
Yeah.
everybody needs to look at everything
Yeah.
they're dealing with. Like, every behavior that you don't like,
Mm-hmm.
it's a reaction, a reasonable reaction. We just need to understand it a little bit more.
A little bit more. That's so beautiful. Yes. And it's not, I mean, obviously, I'll make it clear. It's not like we're condoning like this, like bad, shadow behavior out in the world saying like, oh, it's just, we're just
We're
saying
not encouraging
we're
it,
not
we're not condoning
encouraging.
it,
Yeah.
but
It's just
we're learning to
understanding
understand it,
and
because
heal it and help heal
the
and
only
heal.
way you can help
Mm-hmm.
change that kind of stuff is to understand why it happens. Like,
Right.
I often, when I talk about that, people go, well, if someone,
Like
really,
worst case
like,
scenario.
they'll always go straight
Yeah.
to the worst case
Oh,
scenario when I talk about compassion, because they're like, how could you have compassion for someone who shot your whole family? I'm like,
yeah.
well, thanks for
Oh.
trying to trigger me right there. Godzilla brain, calm down. It's like, first time calming my little,
Yes.
that person is just really scared right now. That's
Yeah.
why they said that about my family. That's right away. I'm doing the work. I have to do the work on myself before I even respond to them. And then I go, okay, that they're scared. So I'm going to try to understand their fear, because they don't want someone to come shoot their family. That's really what they're saying. Right?
Ah,
Because they're scared,
right.
if they're all soft and loving, that they're going to be threatened then,
Yeah.
right? It's really, they're talking about what their greatest fear is.
Yes.
And so I'm like, you know what, even the most violent criminal, if we
Mm-hmm.
really understood what happened to them, it's not that we condone it, but then we can go back and say, how do we prevent this from happening?
Happening again. Yeah.
And how do we stop other children from going through what that person went through?
Yeah.
How do we help people have better, safer lives growing up? And
Mm-hmm.
then the ones that are already in jail or doing, have done really terrible things, how can we rehabilitate them? How
Mm-hmm.
can we help them stop feeling the way they do, so that they don't have to keep committing crimes, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because, and then there might be people that we can't help right now because we don't have the tools yet.
Yes. Yeah.
And so we're doing the best we can by having them in jail or having them, in an asylum. But one day I really, really know that we'll have more tools to help more and more people. And right
What a
now we're already better than we
better.
ever been. We're helping
I
people with drug addictions, with
yes.
alcoholism,
Yeah.
with other addictions,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
OCD, or
Mm-hmm.
HD,
Yeah.
HD. We're helping people who are in high definition.
I'm like,
ADD. So, it's just, we're doing really
we're
well.
doing
Like I
it.
said,
I
we
love
need to
that.
recognize that.
I love that you are holding such an encouraging space for that and saying, hey, look how good we're doing right now. And we're going to continue to get better. And in the future, it'll be even better. I just love that you are holding a space for that. that's beautiful. And I think that that's a good lesson that a lot of us can also hold a space for that, and of encouragement, and maybe of like, I want to say faith, but like what, I don't know another word for faith, or hope, a hope, faith, or just something that this will be approved upon throughout time.
Yeah, and I guess another word for faith would be belief.
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 Yeah.
And then I think that, then words like trust, faith, belief, they're very similar in
Yeah.
energy. But I think what it comes down to in terms of a practical, people say, well, how do I develop faith? It's like, well,
Yeah.
you have to say, you have to look at, well, faith in what? What are you wanting to have faith in? And what's its
Mm-hmm.
opposite? And people always say, well, I want to have faith in humanity, or
Mm-hmm.
faith in the universe, in a loving universe, or a loving
Mm-hmm.
God. I said,
Mm-hmm.
okay, then you're trying to gain faith in that. What is your cynicism then? Like, what's the opposite of that? They're like, well, I'm cynical that there is no loving universe. I'm cynical that people are really bad and people are evil and selfish. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
so which is the reality that you want to build and invest in?
Mm.
They usually say, well, I want to build the loving universe. I want to build a
Mm-hmm.
faith in humanity. And I said, so is it more important that it's already true, that you have to have absolute evidence that it's true? Or do you want to focus your life on investing and building and contributing to making this real? Because
Yes.
then that goes beyond faith, because you
Mm-hmm.
don't need faith at that point. You just need to know what you would like and
Mm-hmm.
what you would like to invest in. Because
Oh,
faith is a very tricky question. It's like, well, I need to have enough evidence to have faith, or
yes.
like evidence. It's like,
And then there's
is
the
it,
flip side of, well, you should just have blind faith and don't need the evidence. And you're like, no, that
yes,
doesn't work for me either.
that's blind faith. I think comes from
Sorry.
maybe a deep cellular memory
Mm-hmm.
in some kind of truth, and then you kind of wrap it in some dogma that makes it seem very anchored. Like if you have 10 pages of scripture that
Yeah.
anchors
Which
this
is, again,
deeper
a
truth.
form of evidence you're collecting, right? So it's
Exactly. It's
really
like there's a thick book out there that
right.
somebody wrote, and it's like sounds really authoritative, and so that's where they go, well, and all these churches, look at the monuments, like there's a lot of money and a lot of people that believe this. It couldn't be
Mm-hmm.
false if they've built giant churches, right,
Mm-hmm.
to a false
Mm-hmm.
god. That's crazy, right? But
Mm-hmm.
and the reality is that calling that we feel inside, that majesty when we enter a church, or the majesty that we sense in the scriptures, or in whatever format that you're experiencing, a religious experience
Mm-hmm.
or spiritual
Or
experience.
spirit, yeah,
It's the true essence of our nature that we're really feeling.
exactly. That's what
And
it
then,
all comes down to,
yeah,
is that the God within you, right? Or that it's
the life
all the
force,
life force
life
within
force. Yeah,
you, that is within every part, it's within everything and
yeah,
everyone. And that, yeah, it's so true that it's that. I remember I had a conversation with someone, and they are very conservative in a religion that they just hold very dear and true to their to themselves, and that works great for them, and they're very happy there. And we were having this conversation once, and this person I was talking to, I was telling them, opening up to them about an experience I had through meditation, and this awakening, kind of just very, very spiritual experience I had during a meditation. And this person was confused that I was able to, and she called it a certain type of moment, but it was confusing to her that I was able to be blessed with this certain feeling or premonition or moment outside of what their belief system was. And so it's just very much like, and I'm trying to be so respectful around the way I'm phrasing this, but it is that you really truly do have so much more inside of you, that you can tap into, and that you can heal, you can tap into, you can feel, you can give, you can express, you can help the world, you can help others, you can help society, you can help, you know, just people you come in contact with day by day, your children, generations, that it all really begins with that, I think, knowing that you've got it, you know?
Yeah. And I think it comes back to that, the student, the eternal student archetype that is really helpful to embody in this lifetime, is that anything that you don't like, you can learn to transform it. And understand it first in order to transform it, and to have more love and compassion for yourself. So not learning through judgment and self-shame, but to learn through understanding, hey, I can learn how to do this differently. And then anything that you don't know how to do, you can also learn. Right? And you don't need to learn everything in this lifetime. You just want to learn the things you are most excited by. That's the key, right? Like, you know, maybe there's a million things you want to learn, but just go for the first thing that is most compelling. I always say, what is most compelling to your life force right now? And there's always something that pops up a little higher than all the rest. Something that's more compelling, like more immediate, like today, what do you want to feel or learn? And then you'll have the answer in that inner voice that you're talking about. That intuition and that kind of surreal knowingness, almost like a special power. We all have that intuition. We all have that kind of guidance. We just have to trust that we all do.
That we do. Yes. I love it. And that brings us so perfectly back full circle, because I hope people rewatch this, because there's so much in this conversation.
We went to a journey across the universe and back.
We just but bringing it back to the entrepreneur and the creative and the millennial, the modern business, you know, that maybe that gift or your art, that your message that you're wanting to bring out into the world, it all comes back to that inner knowing that there is more, that there is something that you're meant to do. And I actually,
it's not elusive. It's not elusive. It's, you know, you will find it if you go and look and have fun looking. You will find your mentors. You will find your allies. You know, the archetypal story that almost all stories are based on is like this, you know, this like Joseph Campbell's, you know, hero's journey
moment.
You know, he studied all these mythologies to see what was common and what the central themes were. And one of the most central themes is this person that feels a calling to do something different or change something or save someone, or, you know, there's always a calling to do something. And then they head out on an adventure, and then they meet their allies and their teachers, like Yoda. You know, Star Wars is a great example used to illustrate the hero's journey. And George Lucas actually directly used, you know, Joseph Campbell's work to write Star Wars and to plan it. A lot of filmmakers actually base their work on the hero's journey. They consciously do that. And so they know they're setting out. And so part of the work that we're doing, you know, all of us, is to recognize that we're on an adventure, and we will meet our allies, we will meet our teachers, and in a way, everybody becomes our teacher. And we are always a student. And then we're also always the teacher too. Whoever we meet, we give them something to think about, and inspire them or trigger them to learn. And so as you go on this journey, just trust that you're here to get inner training, like that Jedi. You will get training. Your life is your training, and it will look different for each person. Some people will be a lot of classroom time, and then a lot of different kinds of mentors, and some people will be kind of on their own, and everybody becomes their teacher. That's what's my journey. I looked and looked for a mentor, and I couldn't find a mentor that felt like a right fit. So I realized that, instead of that one mentor, everybody's my mentor. Like, everybody's my teacher. And I realized, that's the opposite of what I thought I had. I thought I had nobody. And I now realize, I've got the opposite. Everybody's my mentor. And I felt so abundant after that, and realized that everything I experience becomes my classroom. I don't have to find that perfect school. But there are people who go, I really love this particular school, and they really get into it, and it becomes a beautiful community for them. Like for us, we met through B School,
Yes.
that online community, and I have a community of students that have joined the School of Enchantment, and you're building a community with your work.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to hear your kind of mission statement of,
Ooh,
what you're
we're,
here, to help
yes.
people with. I want to hear. I would love to hear it. Like,
Okay.
again, thank you.
Just where I'm at. Yeah. So, well, I first started with a product-based business. I created a product because I had an idea for it. It became louder and louder and louder. The calling became stronger and stronger and stronger until one day I couldn't ignore it anymore. And I had, and I told you this before, but my husband was really this person that took it to a whole nother level. He had served in Iraq. He came from a military family. So he joined, thinking it would please his family, and was deployed as the first unit to go over there. And he came home, and we were friends throughout this time, but when he came home, and again, this is in my audio, the whole story, if you want the whole story, but just to sum it up, he came home and we reconnected, we started dating, and I knew this is my man, this is my guy, and vice versa, and we've pretty much been together ever since. This is 12 years ago. And so I know we're actually, our 10-year wedding anniversary is on the 2nd of June. And so that's just an awesome moment.
That's so soon. That's awesome.
And it just flies by. You're like, wow.
Aww.
And what's funny is we were even talking about a little bit about the shadow the other day, and even said to each other, when fear comes up of are you really in this forever with me? You're not going to leave me ever, and those fears come up. And I looked at him and I'm like, I love you and I love your shadow. And I know exactly what that is. And he's like, yep. And I know you and I know your shadow, exactly what that is. And it's like to be able to still love in that space. So I feel lucky that I have a man that understands the energetic work and that as well. But when he came back from Iraq, he really struggled because he lost his faith in humanity. He saw what people were capable of, and it was very difficult for him to restore that. And it took a lot of work on his part through meditation and qigong and reading and studying and seeking and internal work and all of these things. But seeing him really work with having to work on his self-talk and the way that he thought, put that over the edge for me, that this product I wanted to create, which is a Reiki blessed bottled water with I am statements on each label. So one says, I am strong and confident. I am loved and beautiful. I am calm and focused, present and prosperous, because I wanted to help encourage, and it's called Create, because you create the world around you. And just to really encourage and promote that positive self-talk and healthy self-esteem and build that up. So as you're drinking, the water, you're seeing the I ams and you're saying them, and they're coming. And then I think it helps to teach people to do it on their own in other areas of their life. Well, that really got this moment where I said, I'm doing it. And I had no idea how, and I was in B school. And so I had some direction and community there. But at this time, this was in 2011, there really wasn't a lot of product-based businesses in the community yet. So I still had a lot to kind of figure out on my own. Now they incorporate that in the program, which is great. And I'm actually in Marie's product-based, information.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is it's just kind of fun. It was kind of cool that I'm like, oh yeah. But with a product, you can hide behind that, and do your work with hiding behind the product. And it got it up and going and doing well, and received great feedback and beautiful, messages and thank yous. And it just, I'm like, good, it's doing what I want it to do in the world. Well, then this calling and this voice starts getting louder and louder that starts saying, okay, Jenny, now it's time for you to really put yourself out there and really start this, a blog or a blog site that you want to start, and start to not only let your product be a positive voice for others, but you can reach more people doing it yourself too. Mm-hmm. And so I knew through experience that the longer you wait and try to put something like that off, it just gets more and more loud, and more time is just kind of wasted. So I surrendered to that very quickly and said, okay, this is what we're doing. And put the site together, put it up, got the audios up. And so that's what I'm working on now, is just really being that positive and encouraging voice for any type of modern and creative entrepreneur that wants to take an idea into reality, or, wants to take their message and put it out into the world. And so I'm able to teach, these business savvy techniques that you need, but also the spirituality, because it so goes hand in hand. And I think that business has been so masculine driven, and it's been so, we're oversold, and it's so fiery and heavy, and I feel like I had to really fight against that a lot in my company. And so now I'm almost want to just shout out to the world and say, hey, no, like, this is difficult, and this is why you need the spiritual as well. But that there is a way that you can be creative and still be successful and still bring out into the world what you want to bring into the world, and do it in your way that works for you. So it's just that delicate balance. So that's what I do, and that's what I'm doing now. And so right now I'm working on building up a library of meditations, and also some business workshops and things like that. But a lot of the people are wanting more of the meditations, so we'll see. Maybe it might shift there entirely.
Yeah, definitely. Guided meditations are really wonderful way to retrain our brain. Right. So,
and I've been meditating for years and years, day and night, and I never thought I could make money off this. There was a business here. Not once did I think that. Not once. And so I find it so interesting that as I'm starting to put myself out there digitally, that is what people are responding to and saying, wait, we want more of these guided meditations. And so I'm strong enough in my own personal development and energy and growth that I've been through, that I can specifically create, a guided meditation specific to someone's need. And so on the website, I don't know why I say our, but I guess it's just me for right now, but maybe someone else is coming, but it's like all of ours. I feel like it's everybody's, ours, but that, in like the question and, contact area is what it's called. People can submit questions or maybe something that they need. And I respond to that in like a blog post, saying, little Woo asked about, how do you find clarity with your message? And I'll say, well, and here's a guided meditation that I created specific to that person's need that other people can benefit from as well. So that's a little fun, like, twist I'm just putting on the whole site.
I do a little bit of guided meditation work, and it's a very powerful tool for sure.
Very powerful.
And just thank you so much for taking this time. I just really loved hanging out with you. A week or two ago, just it was so much fun, and I just honestly could hang out with you all day.
I know, right?
I definitely would love to chat with you again. So.
And that's what I'm saying too, is I feel like, and you were mentioning it as people show up, and I'm saying throughout these interview series, like, this is like soul family, and just the fact that, because you're in Canada, right?
And Vancouver, and you're in Utah.
And I'm in Utah. And it's just amazing that to connect and just to find your tribe of people and your soul family, and just embracing that. And yeah, thank you so much for letting me do this, and for us just to have this conversation. Like, it just, I don't know, I learned a ton as always.
Oh, and I'm so inspired by your story, and I'm so happy to have met you, and look forward to hanging out again
Yes.
and doing the stuff that's going on behind the scenes, which is what I love. I love
Yes.
behind the scenes stuff, whether it's what happened when they made that movie, right? There's the stuff in front
Right.
of camera, and then we want to know what's behind camera,
Mm-hmm.
and what's going on underneath the skin, right behind the
Yeah.
camera, what's like actually internal, and the
Mm-hmm.
inner work and the inner training
Yeah.
that I love to do with people, and what you're doing with people
Yeah.
is like really important work, even though
Oh, thank
sometimes
you.
it seems very, it's subtle, and we try to reach through it by
Mm-hmm.
talking, by brainstorming, by
Yeah.
doing meditation, by doing
Mm-hmm.
other types of practices, and we're all going there. We're all
Well
going
done.
to we're going to school. We're
Yes.
here to go to school, and school can be really fun.
It's so true. And that's another piece of what I do too is Snapchat. I show a little bit more there, but I also really speak to and show a lot of that behind the scenes, because this year with Create Beverages, we're adding more products this year to that line of more Reiki Blessed products, and um, some new exciting things. I can't quite say yet, but they're in the works. And that's,
I've joined your email list, so I'll get
yeah,
the announcement.
yes. So, which is so much fun. And that is something that which I actually have to put out today, but I already told you it, but it's okay. I'll go into it. There's a little video, but with Create, we're adding more products this year, and I'm showing people how, like, the really raw nitty gritty parts of business, because I feel like online people are showing, oh, this is how you make $20,000 in a month. And they're not showing or this is how you start. And there's that huge piece that people are not showing. And I am showing that piece of how do you take an idea and bring it into the physical? How do you get your first sell? How do you get your first reorder? How do you make your first $50?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm showing. And this is
Mm-hmm.
such a perfect opportunity as I'm adding products with Create, is
Mm.
to show people what that looks like and really document that.
Yeah, because people need to know how to make the first,
The first,
$1,000
yes,
that's real, that's going to pay the rent,
yes,
before they get to the $10,000 month, which will
yes,
happen later, if they keep working towards it. But
right.
but
It's
to know what to do
little
this right now,
by
like this
little.
month, yeah,
Yeah.
this
And
month,
even
yeah,
like on my Instagram, I'm posting, like, and I even said, my YouTube channel, oh, yay, I have 5 subscribers now.
yeah,
Yay.
yeah, yeah. That's how it grows.
There's
Like
thousands of
five
views.
at a time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just,
It's like, oh, we have like 3,000 views, but here's, 5 subscribers. That's it. You know how it works. And
of
of
who you're
people.
connected to, and I mean, I know most of the people on my list personally,
Mm-hmm.
and it's changing a little bit because people are finding it sometimes where I don't get to meet them, but I hope I get to meet them one day, or talk to them on Skype or something. And we don't get to with every single person that we get to help, because it's just too many people now. But
Yeah.
there's a point where you do build it 1% at a time,
1%
for a lot of it, for
relationship.
a big part of it, and that's actually the funnest part,
It
is
is.
having these real people in your life that you care about.
And the interactions.
Yeah, and you get to know their life story, and I mean, I can tell my story 5 times and then I'm done, right?
Right.
Okay, I've told my story now, and I still
Mm-hmm.
enjoy telling my story, but I'm interested in your story.
Mm-hmm.
I get
I
so
love
much
you.
inspiration from your story, and then her story and his story, and so it's like, yeah, these tools like this Zoom tool that we're using,
Mm-hmm.
that allows this deeper interaction,
Mm-hmm.
is also, I think, a very interesting thing, because I know you're using Periscope and Blab and a
Yeah.
lot of more interactive tools that, I'm keen to explore those, to see
Yeah.
how I can see people again, because I'm staring at my computer screen and kind of in a little bit of a cave now, and I'm not spending as much time with people, and So thank you so much for
You're
spending time with
welcome.
me today. I was like, oh my God.
Good,
I was like,
well, that was
I've
the
laughed more.
scary part. Good.
I've laughed more in the last, half hour than, when I work 8 hours by myself. I don't laugh
Right,
that much. I'm like,
right.
maybe I'll watch a video for a
You're like,
second
your
and like
cheeks hurt,
laugh.
and you're like, oh,
Yeah,
wow. Has it
yeah,
really been that long since I just laughed? But no,
yeah,
that's why these platforms are so amazing, because that was the scariest part of putting myself out there. I was terrified of doing it, and so I knew I had to. So I found Periscope and I hit broadcast, and I'm live, and I'm like, and something in me just went, and I lit up.
yeah.
And I'm like, oh, what I was the most afraid to do is what I'm loving and enjoying the most.
That you're living the most. Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
we love
yeah,
to connect with people, and that's why you want to do what you do anyway, right? Like
yes,
you created a product because you love people, you want to help
yeah,
people.
yeah,
You saw what happened to your partner, and it just touched you, and you want to help more people, and
yeah.
and you were inspired by his journey, and then every person you're meeting on these platforms,
Mm-hmm.
you're getting you're enjoying it, and then
Mm-hmm.
your gifts get to come out because you get to share
Oh,
finally
thank
all the
you.
things that you
Yeah,
get to share, right? Your
yeah,
positive energy, like you said, like one of your
yeah.
favorite things is to be a positive voice,
Mm-hmm.
which we all need, because some of us didn't have a very
Right,
positive surrounding when we were
right,
growing up, because everyone around us were traumatized.
right. And
So
it was
they're
all
just doing
survival.
their best.
Yeah,
They didn't have enough energy to give us a kind word, right? So
right.
you're there to
Mm-hmm.
give that energy to those who need it. And
Yeah.
I'm a similar kind of voice where, I'm also here to give people faith in
Yes.
themselves and others, and to help them
Mm-hmm.
understand the dark parts and understand their great parts, their greatness.
Yes, which is so powerful, and I love so much that you're giving that shining light and giving voice to that. So, but yes,
Thank you so
thank
much.
you. So amazing. All right, so you guys, I'm going to put all the info in the description box below, and we'll send this out, and hopefully you guys enjoy. And another part too, which is so amazing about having a smaller group to interact with, is that I love to receive emails and communication. Sounds like you do as well. And so email us, like, and
Yeah, yeah,
talk and share, because I'm in a place now, and I'm sure you are too, where we can actually respond and converse and interact with you. So take advantage of
yeah,
that, because
yeah.
it's such a great place to be. So
Yeah,
thank you, thank you,
yeah,
thank
join. Yeah, I have an email list, and I love community. I reply to
you. Me
people who write me
too.
back from my email list, and
Yes.
I don't have it's just me doing
Yeah.
this, so I respond to all the emails myself,
Mm-hmm.
and so yeah, join my email list, and go to littlewoo.com, and hopefully we'll stay connected. And I know Jenny and I are going to stay connected, and continue on this life journey together.
Absolutely. Yes. Bye.
Bye
Thanks.
bye.
So that is it for Seeking Safety in the World with Little Woo. Make sure you go to her website at littlewoo.com and check out what she is doing in the world. You can also find her on Facebook, and mostly on Facebook and her website. Go and find her and look at what she's up to. Again, this is Jenny, and you are watching JennyAHansen interview series. Please like and subscribe if you like these interviews, and let me know in the comments below. Lots of love, Jenny.